Welcome to my channel Valuable Coins All World, the place where every coin tells a story. Discover rare, old, and valuable coins from around the world, and find out how much your coin could really be worth. Top 1. The United States of America Kennedy half dollar from 1776 to 1976 stands as one of the most patriotic and iconic coins ever minted. It wasn't just another coin. It was a bold celebration of America's 200th birthday, a bicentennial masterpiece that captured the heart of a nation. When this coin was released, the country was filled with pride and excitement. It was 1976, and Americans everywhere were celebrating 200 years of independence. Fireworks, parades, and flags decorated every town. And in the middle of it all, the U.S. Mint gave people something special to hold in their hands, a coin honoring freedom and history. The Kennedy half dollar, already beloved since its introduction in 1964, was chosen to carry this patriotic tribute. But unlike earlier issues, the 1776 to 1976 coin had a completely different reverse design that made it instantly recognizable that on the obverse, Gilroy Roberts' famous portrait of President John F. Kennedy remained, his calm, determined expression symbolizing leadership and courage. Around him were the inscriptions, "Liberty, in God we trust," and the dual date, 1776 to 1976, marking America's bicentennial year. The reverse, however, was something extraordinary. Designed by Seth G. Huntington, it featured Independence Hall in Philadelphia, the birthplace of the Declaration of Independence. Above it stood the words, "United States of America," and below, the motto, "200 Years of Freedom." This design was meant to remind Americans of where their story began, where brave men signed a document that changed the world forever. It wasn't just a coin. It was a miniature monument to liberty. The coin was struck in both regular copper-nickel composition for circulation and a special 40% silver version for collectors. The silver editions were part of bicentennial proof and uncirculated sets sold directly by the U.S. Mint. Collectors adore the silver versions for their shine, weight, and sound, the unmistakable ring of silver that sets them apart. But even the copper-nickel issues hold deep sentimental and historical value. In 1976, half dollars were still used occasionally in daily transactions, but these special bicentennial coins quickly disappeared from circulation. People hoarded them, saving them as keepsakes of America's 200th birthday. Today, most families still have one or two 1776 to 1976 Kennedy half dollars tucked away in drawers, jars, or albums, symbols of national pride passed down from generation to generation. The coin was struck at 3 U.S. mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The San Francisco mint coins are the most beautiful, often proof-struck with mirror-like surfaces that shimmer under light. The Denver mint coins bear a small D mint mark, while the San Francisco coins feature an S. Philadelphia coins from that time carried no mint mark at all. Each variation has its own level of collectability and appeal. Over the years, collectors have identified subtle varieties and minting errors in these coins, like doubled dies, missing letters, and off-center strikes. Such rare versions can make a huge difference in value. The bicentennial Kennedy half dollar isn't rare in general, but perfect, pristine examples are, especially those struck in deep cameo proof or graded MS-68 and higher by professional grading services. These coins, when flawlessly preserved, represent the very best of American minting craftsmanship. The crisp details of Independence Hall, the fine lines in Kennedy's hair, all stand out sharply, gleaming with pride. Collectors treasure this coin not only for its rarity, but for what it represents: unity, history, and the unbreakable American spirit. Holding one feels like holding a piece of 1976 itself, a year when the entire nation came together to celebrate freedom. It's a coin that connects the past, present, and future. Its design continues to inspire, reminding us that liberty must be cherished and protected. The symbolism of Independence Hall, where voices of courage rose for freedom, makes it one of the most meaningful reverse designs in U.S. history. In addition to its historical charm, the 1776 to 1976 Kennedy half dollar has become one of the most widely collected modern coins in the world. Both new and seasoned collectors seek the best examples for their sets, Many are drawn by nostalgia, remembering when they first received one as a child during America's bicentennial festivities. Others are drawn by its artistic beauty and patriotic design. Even though millions were minted, very few remain in flawless condition. Handling, storage, and time have taken their toll on many coins, reducing their luster and detail. But the few that have survived in perfect shape, untouched and well-preserved, are true treasures of modern American numismatics. These coins represent more than just value. They represent pride, craftsmanship, and national history etched in metal for coin enthusiasts. Finding a 1776 to 1976 Kennedy half-dollar in pristine silver-proof condition feels like uncovering a hidden time capsule from the nation's grand celebration. The dual date, 1776 to 1976, alone gives this coin a uniqueness unmatched by any other half-dollar in American history. It's the only Kennedy coin to bear two dates side by side. Collectors and historians alike agree that the bicentennial Kennedy half-dollar stands as a timeless tribute to both President Kennedy and the American Revolution. So, if you happen to have one of these coins, take a moment to look closely at it. Notice the details, the shine, and the story it carries. It's much more than just a half-dollar, because some of these rare 1776 to 1976 United States of America Kennedy half-dollars, especially in perfect mint or deep cameo-proof condition, have sold for as much as $200,000. If you have one of these beautiful bicentennial Kennedy half-dollars, tell us about it in the comments below. We'd love to help you find out its true worth. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and comment to stay updated on more amazing stories about rare and valuable U.S. coins. Top 2. The United States of America Kennedy half-dollar from 1971 marks a turning point in American coinage history. It may look simple at first glance, but behind its silver-colored surface lies a story of change, memory, and value that still fascinates collectors today. When this coin was released, the 1960s had just ended, a decade full of hope, tragedy, and transformation. The Kennedy half-dollar had already become one of the most beloved coins in the nation, first introduced in 1964 to honor President John F. Kennedy after his assassination. But 1971 brought a major shift. For the first time, the Kennedy half-dollar was struck without any silver. The U.S. Mint transitioned the coin's composition to a copper-nickel-clad alloy, ending the era of circulating silver coins in America. This change marked a new chapter in American coinage. The 1971 Kennedy half-dollar symbolized modernization, but it also carried the emotional weight of history, serving as a link between past and present. The obverse of the coin features the iconic portrait of President Kennedy, sculpted by Gilroy Roberts. His expression is calm, dignified, and determined, reflecting the hope he inspired in millions. The word liberty arches across the top, while the phrase "In God We Trust" rests below his chin, split by his neck truncation. The date, 1971, sits proudly beneath, marking the beginning of a new minting era. On the reverse, Frank Gasparo's design showcases the Great Seal of the United States, a powerful bald eagle clutching arrows and an olive branch, surrounded by a ring of 50 stars. This design is more than decoration. It's a statement of national strength and peace. The eagle's fierce gaze and open wings embody the pride of a nation rebuilding its identity. The 1971 Kennedy half-dollar was produced at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, with millions struck for circulation. The Denver mint coins carry the D mint mark, while Philadelphia coins have no mint mark. But even though millions were made, not all 1971 half-dollars are ordinary. Some rare varieties and errors make certain pieces worth far more than their face value. One of the most famous is the 1971 D struck on a leftover silver planchet from 1970. These extremely rare errors contain silver instead of copper-nickel, and collectors will pay a fortune for one. Another sought-after variety includes double-die obverse examples, where parts of Kennedy's profile or lettering appear doubled. These coins showcase fascinating minting mistakes that make them one of a kind. The transition from silver to clad metal caused several striking inconsistencies in 1971, making error coins from this year particularly collectible. Over time, most 1971 half-dollars entered circulation, losing their original shine and luster. However, Those few that survived untouched, still gleaming as they left the mint, are now highly prized. Uncirculated and proof examples, especially those graded MS-67 and higher, can command remarkable prices among collectors. The proof coins struck at the San Francisco Mint, bearing an S mint mark, are especially beautiful. Their mirror-like fields and frosted details make them miniature works of art. Even though these coins no longer contain silver, their craftsmanship and historical connection to the Kennedy legacy make them deeply meaningful. For many Americans, holding a 1971 Kennedy half-dollar brings back memories of an era when President Kennedy's ideals still echoed across the nation. This coin isn't just money. It's a piece of American spirit preserved in metal. Every detail, from the sharpness of Kennedy's hair to the precision of the eagle's feathers, tells a story of pride and transition. The 1971 issue also marked the beginning of the modern-clad half-dollar series, which continues to this day. That makes this coin historically significant as the first of its kind. Collectors often seek the 1971 Kennedy half-dollar to complete their sets, knowing it represents a turning point in American numismatics. Finding a perfectly preserved one, especially with flawless strike and full luster, can be like finding buried treasure. The difference between a circulated coin and a mint-state example is astonishing, both in beauty and in value. The demand for rare mint errors and high-grade examples continues to rise, and auction prices have reached impressive heights for the finest specimens. Even after more than 50 years, the Kennedy half-dollar remains a symbol of hope, remembrance, and national pride. It's more than a coin. It's a story of America's evolving history. Every collector who owns a 1971 Kennedy half-dollar owns a tangible link to the end of the Silver Age and the start of a new minting tradition. So, before you overlook a half-dollar from 1971, take a closer look. You might be holding something truly valuable, something that carries both emotional and historical worth. Because rare examples of the 1971 United States of America Kennedy half-dollar, especially in perfect condition or with unique minting errors, have sold for as much as $190,000. If you have a 1971 Kennedy half-dollar, share the details of your coin in the comments below so we can help you find out its real value. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and comment for more fascinating stories about rare and valuable coins from America's past. Top 3. The United States of America Kennedy half-dollar from 1972 is one of those coins that hides an incredible story behind its silver-like shine. To the casual eye, it may look like any other half-dollar, but for collectors and historians, it represents one of the most fascinating years in modern U.S. minting. The 1972 Kennedy half-dollar came during a period of transition in American coinage. The country had just moved completely away from using silver in its circulating coins, and the new copper-nickel-clad half-dollars were now the standard. This coin wasn't made of silver, yet its beauty and symbolism made it a cherished piece. It stood as a tribute to President John F. Kennedy, a man whose legacy continued to inspire Americans long after his time. The obverse features the dignified portrait of Kennedy, designed by Gilroy Roberts. His profile captures both strength and compassion, the qualities that made him one of the most beloved figures in American history. The inscriptions "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" frame his image, while the year 1972 rests proudly at the bottom. Every detail of this side radiates elegance and national pride. That on the reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo, the Great Seal of the United States shines with power and grace. The eagle spreads its wings, holding arrows in one talon and an olive branch in the other, a symbol of America's readiness for both peace and defense. Around the eagle are 50 stars, representing each state in the Union. This classic design has stood the test of time, symbolizing unity and strength. The 1972 Kennedy half-dollar was struck at 3 different U.S. mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia mint coins have no mint mark, while the Denver coins feature a small D, and the San Francisco coins show an S. Millions were produced that year, but not all were equal in quality. Some carry striking differences, small errors, and varieties that make them worth far more than ordinary examples. One of the most famous of these is the 1972 D double-die obverse. On this rare variety, parts of the lettering, especially "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," appear doubled, creating a striking visual effect under magnification. Such double dies are highly prized among collectors because they represent rare minting mistakes that occurred during the striking process. There's also the fascinating case of the 1972 half-dollar struck on leftover silver planchets from earlier years. These rare errors contain silver instead of the standard copper-nickel clad metal, making them extremely valuable. The difference is subtle but measurable. These silver-struck errors weigh slightly more and have a distinct ring when tapped. Finding one is like uncovering buried treasure. Most 1972 Kennedy half-dollars, however, were struck for circulation. They were meant to be used, passed from hand to hand, a small reminder of President Kennedy's legacy in daily life. Yet, because fewer people used half-dollars in the 1970s, many of these coins remained stored away, preserving their condition for decades. Proof coins struck at the San Francisco Mint are among the most beautiful examples of the 1972 issue. Their mirror-like surfaces and frosted details make them sparkle with unmatched brilliance. These proof coins were not intended for circulation. They were made especially for collectors, struck multiple times to bring out every fine detail. Over time, the 1972 Kennedy half-dollar has gained respect not just for its artistry, but also for its role in the evolving story of American coinage. The IT represents an era when the U.S. Mint was perfecting its clad coinage and continuing to honor one of America's most admired presidents. Collectors today hunt for coins from this year that remain in flawless condition, especially those graded MS-67 or higher. These rare high-grade examples can sell for incredible prices. Even small differences in shine, strike, or detail can make the difference between a common coin and a collector's dream. The challenge of finding a perfect 1972 half-dollar is what makes it exciting for numismatists. It's not just about the money. It's about holding a piece of history in mint condition. The 1972 issue also holds emotional value. It connects generations, those who lived through the Kennedy era and those who only know him through the legacy he left behind. The Kennedy half-dollar remains a coin that captures hope, leadership, and American pride. Each year's issue adds a new chapter to that story, and 1972 is one of its most intriguing chapters. If you look closely at a 1972 Kennedy half-dollar, notice the smooth fields, the sharp edges, and the balanced design, proof of the mint's craftsmanship and attention to detail. This coin may not shine with silver, but it shines with meaning. It reflects a nation's respect for its fallen leader and its optimism for the future. Even decades later, the 1972 Kennedy half-dollar continues to turn heads in coin collections and auctions, especially when rare varieties or flawless examples appear. So before you overlook that half-dollar sitting in your collection or change jar, take a closer look. You might just be holding something extraordinary, because rare and pristine examples of the 1972 United States of America Kennedy half-dollar have sold for as much as $180,000. If you have a 1972 Kennedy half-dollar, tell us about it in the comments below so we can help you find out its true value. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and comment for more amazing stories about rare and valuable coins from America's history.